Now they're starting to sense that the American people don't even control their Congress, which they don't. This is the tragedy here. But to have former President Clinton, who is still very popular, come out and say, my God, if something bad's going to happen, because this Tea Party can produce some bad things. Look, if there's anything bad that happens, it's because the American people are totally disgusted. A man who flew his plane into an IRS building in Texas, a man who bulldozed his home in Ohio because he was tired of the banks. This is what's happening. You're seeing the American people react because their government is failing to address the problems that exist in the country. Period.
I agree with you, and there's lots of things happening that are real, but if you look at the preconditioning and the buildup and even the Hatari militia, we've documented that was a total federal setup with people inside provocateuring them to shoot their mouths off, and so they're having these busts to create this background story that, oh, look, the gun owners are about to attack, and we know, we have the documents, that they're training the military for gun confiscation. And we've had the mayor of Schenectady, New York. We've had House reps in the legislature of Illinois and others calling for troops on the streets. I mean, this is getting really creepy.
Well, let me tell you, the politicians should be calling for troops on the border, and stay off of the American people. And that Second Amendment wasn't to protect duck hunters. It was to protect the American people from a government. And let me tell you something, they're bringing this on themselves. But the good thing that's happening is all these issues are now coming to light, Alex. They're coming to light because you, and as a leader, and there are others out there, but they're not as strong. And this is what I'm saying to you. Now you have to be very careful. They will make some technicality into a major cardinal crime, and that's the way it works. So I think you, having heard these comments, I think you know that. You're very intelligent.
No, I know, and I'm very aware of it, and I appreciate you talking about it. I mean, I never intended to have this big of an effect. I mean, I wanted to have an effect, but I didn't know I'd get in the position of, within so many of these documents, they're saying, there's the enemy, get him, get him. But I've talked to so many troops that have called me and sent us information. They say that's why the troops and police then tune into the show, because they're told, don't listen to Alex Jones, he's bad. I mean, the government is smart at certain levels, but it's also stupid.
Alex, you know the amazing thing, when I brought John Deminick home, I got a number of calls sort of just like this. Just listen. Good job, Congressman. We're proud of you. Hang up. Good job, Congressman. Hang up. The reason those calls were so quick is they were coming from the Justice Department. Believe me, the people in the government knew what they did to Deminick. There's a lot of people in the government don't like what's going on, Alex. There's a lot of people in the government that are listening to you. Now, the problem is we're starting to get all this militia talk. We need militia because we've got all these groups that are establishing. Look, all of the government's troops should be concentrating on securing our borders, getting us out of these wars overseas that have bankrupted us, and take care of America's issues. They shouldn't be targeting American people, and that's what they're doing. And what I don't like about it is, if you look at the Tea Party are basically frustrated Americans, but they're Republicans and they're Democrats. They voted for Republican presidents and they voted for Democrat presidents. And what they're saying, loud and clear, and everybody's trying to dilute it because they're afraid that the party in power is going to be removed. And that's where President Clinton come in. I think it's very unfortunate that he made that statement, but I'm going to make this statement on the Alex Jones Show. They don't call him Slick Willie for nothing. And I made that statement on the Robert Novak Show when the IRS threatened a veto of the IRS reform bill because of the trafficking language that changed the burden of proof. And I said on the Robert Novak Show that President Clinton isn't called Slick Willie for nothing. He could sign the bill and help the American taxpayers, or he could veto the bill and help a few IRS agents, and he signed the bill. And that's the type of pressure we need to put back. President Clinton should not have made that statement. He should reverse that statement.
Sorry, go ahead.
And this is what I'm saying. Disregard that statement. That's a political statement. That's not a national security statement, and it's unfortunate.
Let me bring up another issue, then I'm going to take a few calls for you and also give out your address for people that want to support your campaign or physically get involved. You're filing Monday. We want to have you back as that unfolds. You're very gracious with your time, sir. Again, JIM Trafficant joining us. It has come out that a lot of Republicans and Democrats are gay, and I'm not attacking them for that, but that they're being blackmailed, like if they're a drug dealer or they're taking bribes, or there's a lot of different ways you can get compromised. And the word from really good sources is Obama's being compromised and blackmailed. that Congressman Lindsey Graham was, the head of Alley Pack, which is a very serious, focused guy who I've been watching for over a decade. I've never heard Mr. Geen say something that wasn't true. He says he's got it down pat that Lindsey Graham is just running around basically all over the place, in the streets, cruising, and that they're blackmailing him. 5 days after that information was released, Graham said, I'm not doing immigration reform. I'm not going for the carbon tax. He said, I'm done. And how big a problem is blackmail in Congress for congressmen and women who really are involved in hanky-panky?
It's very big, Alex. Now, look, I can't speak on any individual case, but again, as I got personal information, remember, I'm the fellow on the House floor that said that Janet Reno was a lesbian, and she was controlled by organized crime who had photographs of her with young women. Now, I was protected by the speech and debate clause, but I went on again, a national TV show, the Robert Novak show, and I reiterated those statements, and I said, go ahead, Janet, I'm not protected by the speech and debate clause. Take me to court, because maybe now we'll find out why you will not allow an investigation in $10 million from a red Chinese army general that went to President Clinton's campaign fund. And I never heard a word from her. Now, they put me in prison, but listen to what I'm telling you. She was controlled. The Attorney General of the United States was controlled. The CIA and anybody listening to this, FBI, come on and pick up JIM Trafficant. I'm on probation. Right here on Alex Jones' show, I'm saying that she was a lesbian. She was, in fact, appointed an assistant prosecutor in Dade County, the cocaine capital of America. She was ultimately, after the prosecutor resigned, appointed the prosecutor, then won re-election. Now, that's one I knew about. But I can guarantee you there are people in Washington that are afraid to say anything because of their background. There are people who are afraid. And this is the thing I don't like. And this is the thing that
Congressman, I've got to interrupt. I'm skipping a network break. This break belongs to the network. Station should not run over this. I'm skipping the break for time. Go ahead, Congressman.
Okay. The bottom line is, I don't know if you remember, but Jane Harmon from California was picked up on a voice recorder of promising American Israeli Public Affairs Committee that she'd get their 2 spies out of prison if they used their influence to make her the chairman of the Intelligence Committee.
Yeah, that was on the news.
Yeah, but it was hidden away real fast, and it was hidden away real good. But do you know that the 2 spies were ultimately turned loose by our Attorney General Holder? And he said, we're not sure that they had bad intent. Well, keep in mind, Alex, that the man that they were working with in the Pentagon, Larry Franklin, is still in prison for 12 years for giving secrets. And what their efforts were, they were attempting to mobilize the Pentagon to attack Iran. Look, enough is enough. Everybody's afraid down there, Alex. And the thing I don't like is the IRS has thousands of times testified before Congress and said the only weapon we have to collect voluntary taxes is the element of fear. Alex, how does fear, and the word fear, and the process of fear, even enter into the Bill of Rights and the Declaration of Independence? My God, what has happened to us, Alex?
Well, Congressman, I did the research at the time. I know it was in 2 major Florida papers that she was actually caught when she was just a prosecutor, so drugged out on alcohol and pills, vomiting in the back of a car in a parking garage with a 13-year-old girl. It also came out in, I believe it was lawsuits, you can pull this up, that she would go check out kids that had been CPS'd from the CPS. Did you ever see that info?
No, the information that I had was that the powers that be in the cocaine business had photographs of her with young ladies in compromising situations, and she was really ineffective and impotent in anything she'd try and do. The reason that I got so involved with Janet Reno is she testified before Congress about Waco that they did everything not to push David Koresh over the edge. Listen, no one got more information than me on that case, Alex. And listen to this. David Koresh went jogging every morning and went for lunch and went for breakfast into a local town. They could have arrested him in town and there had been no problem. They wanted that siege. They wanted that siege to try and change the IRS law of this exemptions for these church-related activities. and it blew up in her face. But when she testified to Congress and said we didn't want to pressure him and push him over the edge, I wasn't on that committee or I'd asked her this question. Then, my God, why did you have strobe lights on that building all night and play the recordings of dying rabbits at the screaming decibel level so high it was heard in villages 5 miles away if you didn't want to push anybody over the edge? She lied. But the thing that bothered me is we had a general in the Red Chinese Army, Alex, that gave $10 million to the Clinton campaign, and she never investigated it. She said it wasn't worthy of an investigation. Now, my God, we have China right now that is controlling much of the money supply in America. They're controlling the commerce and trade of America. You have Israel that's controlling the national and international policies of America. Where the hell did the American people come in, and why isn't anybody saying it?
Well, this is an incredible interview with James Trafficant, and I know you're on the road right now traveling, and if you can't do it, it's fine. We're going to break here in about 5 minutes for 1 minute. Can we have an additional 5 minutes with you?